All right, what's up, familia? Welcome inside the pad. Hope you guys are doing good. Keep in between the lines. Got your load secure. All right, man. Something that's very interesting. People have talked about schools and schooling and what's going on in the schools and all this stuff about the school system. Does it work? Does it not work? Especially, here, like in the LA school district and all that stuff. Well, you know what? I got a homie, man, that they do homeschooling. And that's very interesting because I remember growing up, there was two homies that I had that they were homeschooled. But I want to go ahead and ask homeboy right here who we're about to bring on, what's like having your kid homeschooled? So let's go ahead and bring in from the LA Times one, Mr. Pablo.
What's happening, man? Hello, everybody out there in YouTube Landia.
Pablo, my man. How you doing, big dog? It's been a while, man, since we talked here on this platform.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. We've been doing our lucha, and yeah, definitely. A lot of the time, I'm not available. A lot of it is because of homeschool, and it's a
Mm.
blessing, man. It's a blessing. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's get into it. I'll say this, Paul. I remember two homies that were homeschooled, but only for high school, not their entire childhood. Only for high school. Some of it had to do because their parents didn't want them to get into trouble anymore, things like that. And honestly, I thought it kind of made them a little bit more lazy. Or you know what? One guy had it a little bit more together, right? He had his kind of rutina down. The other homie, man, he kind of used it as like I don't gotta do anything, That's less responsibility on my end, right? I think I'm kind of trying to remember to the best of my ability. He had to go in like once a week or something like that. But outside of that, it was homeschooling, and it's like, yeah, I just wake up when I wake up, whatever, man. I you know do whatever I want. I don't gotta get dressed. I don't gotta get ready. I don't gotta do anything like that, man. And I saw the effects that it had on him, and I was like, man, you know what? Having some of that responsibility of having to get up at a certain time and get yourself dressed and going somewhere, it really does a lot for you. But as a parent, Paul, can you talk a little bit about your situation and why you made the decision to homeschool?
Yeah, it seems like some of the stuff you're talking about right there sounds like continued ed and stuff like that. Like if they're only checking
Yeah.
in once a week, like
Mhm.
that stuff usually happens when you and I had did that for a while when I was in high school because I was a mess up kid. So
Okay.
they would give me the homework, I do it at home, and yeah, you're kind of like on your own, but it was a lot easier. You could get the grades really easy. Now, homeschool in general, when people talk about homeschool, it's a little bit different. Um, Homeschool for me, it's something that I wish I knew about. You see, we're raised, let's just take California. It could be anywhere. California, since I was a kid, I was raised, hey, you just go to school. That's what you do. It doesn't matter. You go to school, it's part of it. And this is what you do. You go to class and we're told you need this and you go and whatever. Especially, but now if you look at it, the schools have gotten to a point. I remember when I was a kid, there was a possibility that you could flunk out and be held back a grade. That ain't happening no more. They're passing everyone, bro. You get put up, you get passed, you get passed, you get passed onto the thing, onto the next one. You're gonna keep going. You're gonna keep graduating. They're not gonna hold you back no more. Now, one of the things, the reason I chose homeschool, there's a lot of people, bro, in our history of our government who were homeschooled. You know, I mean, just start off. I mean, Thomas Edison, um, partially Abraham Lincoln. A lot of the celebrities that you see that are against homeschool, a lot of them are homeschool or homeschool their kids. It's just they don't talk about it. All these child actors are homeschooled. A lot of them. But let's
Yeah, I
talk
think
about the
Ray
general
Liotta.
people
Okay, I
like
think Ray
me,
Liotta.
who, huh?
I think Ray Liotta was homeschooled. I think I remember hearing that.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, man. A lot of them are partially Taylor Swift, Jonas Brothers, Demi Lovato, just so many, bro, so many, and so that's neither here or there right now. So people always consider, why do you homeschool? That's weird, dude. What about your child? They need to be around other kids, this and that. Well, the number one reason that I started homeschooling was seeing, partially what was being pushed to our kids and the taking away of parent responsibilities when they get into the certain grades, that they could go in, that they could get certain medical procedures done, they could get certain shots, they could go in and, pretty much for abortions, they could go for anything leading to that and get counseling without the parents' permission. We just had a debate between Newsom and DeSantis on this about parent permission in school. And that's one of the things. California is really a state where the parental permissions are being stepped on. We have a right in our household to teach our kids about sex and about whatever goes on. They don't need to be taught about oral sex, homosexual sex, heterosexual, just any sex. Let them learn that, when they get in. They used to have sex ed in high school and stuff, but now they pushed it way down to lower grades. That's one reason. That's one reason. Now, forgive me, the dog is barking in the background.
Oh
Now,
yeah,
the second reason, huh?
I hear the dog having his little fit.
Yeah,
It's all good, man.
yeah.
But you know what? Let me go ahead and just real quick. When you said kids, they don't flunk kids anymore. I didn't know that. I didn't know they don't flunk kids anymore. And by the way, just I was flunked. I was flunked in the second grade. So I flunked the second grade. I didn't know that they just keep on pushing kids forward and forward and forward all the way to you graduate. I didn't know that.
Yeah, now it's a little different. It's more politically correct. And everything is done through the teachers union. The teachers union has control, bro, over everything. They are affiliated with the Democratic Party, which I ain't telling no one how to vote. They're affiliated with the Democratic Party. So here's what it is. When you choose to homeschool your kid, and I still have other reasons to explain why, but when you choose to homeschool your kid, the money that they would have gotten to have your kids in school no longer goes into the school district. And part of that money, the unions, goes up to the Democratic Party, basically. So the Democrat Party, the teachers union are one. So that money, when you homeschool, is not going to them. That's why they're so adamant against homeschooling, because they're not getting that money. That's why most liberals, Democrats, are against school choice, school vouchers. I'm all for school vouchers because a lot of the school districts where you and I grew up, sometimes they're not the biggest, they're not the greatest school districts. A lot of people
Right.
are flunking out. A lot of people they have a big dropout rate. And there's several reasons for that, dude. Just overcrowding, or the teachers, they don't care. They gave up, man, or whatever it would be, man. Subpar teaching. And I'll get to one of the reasons. But so now you have all these people. So what the other party did in California, which is the minority party, they want to have school vouchers where, let's say I'm growing up in an area, let's say Montebello, East LA, where there's bad schools. But you know what? Here's a voucher that you could use to get your kid to go to a school over in Rosemead where there's better schooling. You could have the choice to do that and go over there. That's school vouchers. But the teachers union is against that. They do not want you to go to nowhere, but where you're positioned, where you live, you go there, the money goes into the system, they get the money from the federal government, it goes in, goes in the teachers union. They get paid. All the teachers pay their dues. It goes into the union, and it's a big circle. They only want you going to public school. So I didn't know there was an option called homeschooling. I wish I would have known about this a lot sooner. Now, let me give you an example, dude, of the main reason. Not even the political reasons or not even because of the sex ed or nothing. Why I chose to take my kid out of.
before you do that, Paul, can I just combat just a little bit? Well, not combat. Let me just go ahead and say this. Like, shouldn't kids go to school where they live? Because what if say most of the kids want vouchers to go schools, go to other schools? I mean, now those schools can be a little overcrowded, right? I'm not against like
That would be
charter.
great.
I'm not against like charter
Yeah.
schools or anything like that, but I mean, we can't have every kid get a voucher, right?
Yeah, we should. We should if they want it. Now,
Okay.
what's going on? What's going on? Let's say you got East LA, Montebello, right?
Mhm.
East LA, Montebello. You got those schools right there. Now, let's say you go up the 10 freeway. We're not on the 60 right now. We're on the 10. We're over there in San Gabriel, and we're over there in Rosemead, in that area. The kids there are getting a way better education, better rate of people not dropping out, better schools, cleaner schools. Now, why can't my kids who are failing in East LA,
Mm.
or the majority are not doing very good according to state standards, go to get a voucher to go to that school
Eh,
where there's a lot better teachers, a lot better maybe educated teachers, maybe they're getting paid more.
right.
There's a better graduate rate to go to college.
Mm.
Why can't my kids do that? You see, why do they have to stay in East Los? You see what I
Right.
mean? Even though East Los is beautiful and,
Mm.
and the culture is beautiful, but why can't they go over there? Believe me, those
Right.
kids over there, imagine if they started sending those kids who were, a lot of them are Asian, start sending them to go to school in East Los and
Mm.
they get taught at the subpar level. You see, so the ability to have choice is a great thing, but that's what the teachers union is against. They don't want
Right.
people to have the choice.
Well, what I'm
Go ahead.
saying, Paul, and it makes sense what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, say, 5,000 students from East Los wanted to go over there. Is there enough room? What if all the
Well,
students wanted vouchers to go over there? Do those schools really have that room to, take all those students in? I mean, how is it that it's only just a few that get vouchers? What if all the students all the parents want the students going to those schools?
but that's what I'm saying. They should have the ability. Obviously, they can't all go to one school because
Right,
there's only so much room in a school that they could accept in.
right.
There's only so much room, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's other school districts, there's other choices. That's what I mean, school
Okay.
choice. So we
Okay.
don't want to where, you know what, you're stuck there, dude. You can only go to East Los. It might be the worst school in the state. You could
Mm.
only go there. You know what? You were born there, you were raised there, and you know what? Even though a lot of people, maybe half the kids are not even going to college, we're over there down the street in Rosemead, maybe 80% are going to college. Over here, let's say 45% are going to college. You're stuck there. No, man, I don't like that. I don't like that. But I think they should all have school choice. We should have vouchers, school choice, but that's not homeschooling.
Right.
See, that's not home. That's
So
just
what is
general education.
homeschool? So what is
And
homeschool?
and let me say this: I speak, I speak. My wife is a teacher. She's an
Okay.
elementary teacher.
Ah,
So I speak, and She's one of the places she teaches is one of the biggest hoods. Biggest hoods in. I'll tell you off air, but
okay.
a big hood with a lot of hoods in it.
Mm.
And the reason she teaches is, I'll be honest with you, a lot of the teachers don't care, but my
Okay.
wife cares. My
Got it.
wife makes sure every day she goes to work that they get the best education they can.
Mm.
but that's not all of them. Some of the teachers have gave up on their children. They gave up. They gave up. They're like, nah, it's the same way. We're here in the hood. We're teaching. They do the very minimum. They just want to go home. It's like the prison guards, bro. They just want to do their day and get out of there. It's no longer a passion for them, to teach these kids that they might have hope. And that's what the teachers are supposed to do: instill hope, educate them, not indoctrinate them. But go ahead.
Okay, so what is homeschooling, and how did you get into having your daughter homeschooled?
So here it is, man. So I was saying, like, if it gets you mad that somebody wants to homeschool their child, man, that's their child. You
Yeah,
see, let me tell you something. If you're mad at this homeschool idea, or you think it's lame, I want to let me tell you why. So let's say I put my daughter into school with 30 other people. Well, you've been to school, you out there in the audience, you've been to school, I've been to school. There are some people in that classroom who are very bright, who are smacks, who belong probably in a higher grade. There's some people out there, most of the people probably, hopefully in the middle, and there's some kids way down there, really low, like, man, probably belong in, some other kind of class where they can learn at a slower pace. But the way the school systems are now, you all learn together. And you can't move ahead properly unless everyone in that class is together. You have to wait for the last person. The smartest one has to wait for the last person. So the teacher in the classroom has to go teach at a lower level and make the lower ones in the class understand. And the higher ones have to wait. And if she just taught at the highest level, the low ones wouldn't get it. If she taught the lowest level, the ones that are highest level are like, they're
they're
not
not
learning.
succeeding. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not. Yeah,
they're not learning it, and they don't succeed, and this and that. And this is where homeschooling comes in. This is the main reason I chose homeschooling. Well, we chose homeschooling is because we can teach our daughter at a level that's right for her. You see, she started reading really early, bro. Right now, her reading level, because even though you go to homeschool, you still have to take you still have to take you're part of a group. You're not just, going out there alone like the Wild West. You're part of a group, and that group is accountable to the state. And what they do is they test us to make sure we're on state levels. You know,
okay.
you're still tested. You're still tested. So my daughter is her reading level is already in high school level, and she's just turned 11. So her reading level is way up there in the high percentile. So she's already a year ahead. So if I had left her in school, she would still be, right now she is supposed to be in fifth grade.
Mhm.
She is in sixth grade. You see what I mean?
Got it.
So in a classroom, that wouldn't have happened. She would have had to wait for the whole class. So now she's learning more at her level, and actually her reading level, and according to her reading level, she should be in high school. That
Okay.
can't happen at a regular classroom. It doesn't happen. Now, her math level is not as high. Her math level is probably like seventh grade, like a year ahead, like 2 years
Okay.
ahead, actually, because she was supposed to be in fifth grade, but she's still excelling. In everything, she's excelling, right? So that is the main reason for that is she could go as fast as she wants. She doesn't have to wait. And there's other situations we'll bring up. Any questions on that?
Yeah, for anybody who's gonna say like, hey, you know what? There are situations where they just skip a grade. That's very true, but that is very, very rare. That is very rare. So I do I get what you're saying. What grade did you make the decision to say like, okay, you know what? Let's get her out of public school and let's do this.
After after kinder, after
Ah,
kinder, because
okay.
she was already very excelled in. She did everything early, bro. She
Okay.
walked early. She talked early. Like we're talking like 7 months.
Mm.
She walked, talked early. Like she did everything early. And the reason I believe that is, and I think from the womb when the baby came out, even when my wife's a teacher, so my wife would read to her. We didn't let her go in strong into TV. We if we did, we would have her watch stuff like Baby Einstein, which has all this stuff and the classical music and always reading. Now she does it's reading, art, guitar. She's involved in all that. So it's very interesting that kids can go faster. But then I'll bring up the most common thing, and we got family members that even don't understand. Like, put her in regular class, put her in regular school, and they don't get it, and they need human interaction, and they need to be around other kids. Now, let me say this:
Yeah.
they do need to be around other kids.
That's why I want to touch on. Yes.
Yeah, they do need to be around other kids. But here's in a second, I'll get to that.
Uh,
But also, you don't want them to be around other kids that put it this way. This is a bad example. You drop out of school when you're 15 years old.
uh,
You're hanging around, and me and you came from the same kind of background. They're hanging around the bad kids on the street, kids that are going to jail, this and that. Bad company corrupts good morals. Straight out fact.
okay.
So you don't want them to be around kids also that are, teaching that way. Some of the school districts in some of the areas have a big fixture on bad kids. Bad kids. And a lot of kids, and another reason, a lot of kids a lot of, I would say a lot of schools don't push the need to excel, to go more, to do more, to have vision, to be creative, to go out there, more vision to study, Some of it's cultural. Some of it's cultural. But so kids, right? So kids
Yeah.
need to be around other kids. So let me take you through the average week of my daughter. Okay.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
average week of my daughter, let's start with Sunday. Sunday, church all day. She's with her friends at church, and she's been knowing these kids since she was born, all these kids. I'm talking, we go to a small church, like 500 people, but there's a lot of kids there, a lot of girls her age, bro, a lot of kids who go to public school and go to private school and are homeschooled, a lot of them. We have a big group of homeschoolers there. So she gets that. Monday, one week she has piano. She's taught by a professional pianist and then professional jazz player. On the opposite Monday, she has jujitsu. She has her jujitsu friends, girls, boys, everything. She's out there jujitsu. This is besides doing school in the day.
Right. Right.
Tuesday,
Right.
and we're talking night. Tuesday, jujitsu. She with her friends, jujitsu. Her girls, guys, this and that. Wednesday, her age.
Mm.
Wednesday, jujitsu. Then after she goes to church, she goes to church.
Okay.
Thursday, jujitsu. You know, right
Right.
now she's part of a Christmas dance choir at church. So she has more time. So she has a ton of time with friends, bro.
Okay.
And that's what I really encourage. People think that homeschoolers are just home alone with them and their dog, and that's their family album and that's their yearbook and all that stuff. But dude, my daughter has so much interaction with children, kids, and not just like-minded kids.
Mm.
There's kids that jujitsu from all walks of life, every ethnicity, all walks of life. And so there she's learning about being bullied. She's learning how to excel. She's learning physical fitness. She's learning that through jujitsu, she's learning that if you don't work hard, in jujitsu, you either win or you lose. There's no in between. So she's
Yeah.
learning if she lags or is lazy, there's a consequence, you know? So yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah. I was. I am one of those guys that said like, oh, you know what? It's better if they go to school because they not just for the education, but um, the other education of having to deal with people on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis, because you're probably going to have to do that as an adult when you get into your job, your career, out in the workforce. You're going to have to deal with people, not just always in a bad way, but you can put that out there and say like, well, if somebody tries to talking behind your back, all these things you deal with it at school, right? So it's like I was kind of always the impression that it's like if you're homeschooled, you're kind of protected from all that. And then when you become an adult and then you get out there into the world, it's like you don't really know how to deal with some of these
Right.
know, human interaction problems. But like you said, you can counter that. And I should know this because my sons were in sports. Uh, and I coached. My sons were in sports throughout their entire childhood. So I guess there is certain different things that you can do that they can have that interaction with other kids. And, you know, um, you can't just protect them all the time from bad. It's like, no, they need to know, they need to be, I guess I should say, tempted and be disciplined enough to say, no, you know, I'm not going to be a part of that, as opposed to like, no, we're just going to make sure you don't see it, you don't hear it, it's not around you. But then when you're an adult, do you have that fortitude? Do you have that discipline to say, like, nah, Charlie, that ain't for me, you know?
Yeah. And I think
That,
I think that's
that's one thing I would always think about.
yeah, definitely. I think that's what most people think about. But if they went into the average homeschoolers, man, they're excelling, dude. They're
Mm,
excelling. Like I said, at our church, we got a group. I don't know how many actually go, but that I know of at least 20 kids that go to a homeschool. They meet like a school once a week. They're homeschooled, but they meet like once a week. They get together and they have classes, once a week. And my daughter used to do that, but we haven't joined this program because we're part of another program. We get together once a week, but man, the kids that I know are excelling, bro. And I agree with you. There's certain things in life that you have to learn. Adversity. You have to learn adversity, how to deal. Like you said, getting up in the morning at 8 o'clock. You know, but at the same time, the thing my daughter is seeing her get up and knowing that what she has this and this and this and this and these classes to complete before mom gets home.
right.
And
Yeah.
she has math, science, history, all this stuff she has to do before mom gets home. And then when mom gets home, not only does she have her jujitsu or her piano, and she plays guitar too, I forgot. So not only does she have all this, when mom gets home, my wife's a teacher. So my wife takes the harder stuff. We're talking about fractions and pre-algebra and stuff. My wife is she takes care of that. I take care of the simpler stuff, the reading stuff. So it's
Gotcha.
homeschool is a trip, man, and it's not for everybody. You have to really be disciplined in the fact that you're going to have your kid get up, work, and create a work ethic in them, because if they're lazy and sloppy, it ain't going to work. And if you think you're going to homeschool and just not be a participant, but kind of like, oh, here's this, go do this. Here's this, go do this. Oh, just look at a YouTube video. No, you have to be actively participating if you want them to excel, because they're counting on you. They're counting on you. You're the teacher, basically. And a teacher's job, man, they prepare the lesson and they give it to them. And here's another thing about homeschooling, bro. Did you want to ask a question before?
Well, no, go for it, man. I was thinking about something. I'll say it in a second. Go for it, man.
Yeah. No, 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 because this is another thing. So another main reason for homeschooling that I would say is indoctrination, bro. I don't want my kids indoctrinated. That's one of the main things. When it comes to character, to morals, morality, um, you know, it's not for the school to teach them that. our values are come from us, me and my wife. We pour them into our daughter. The school, especially in California, the school system is pouring different things into our daughter. Where now they are, when you go through, obviously, like if you went to school, biology, there's a man, there's a woman, right?
Right.
That's science. That's science. Like they don't want God in there,
Mhm.
but biology, there's a man, there's a woman. There's a man, there's a woman, and now it's like, but if you want to be a woman, but you're a man, it's okay. It's like they're
Right.
teaching different stuff and different things, and it's not even at a young age. It's up to the individual teacher to. The individual teacher is going to bring her values and morals into that classroom.
Mhm.
So, what about when your values, my values, are different from the teachers teaching? No, they're not there to teach values. I mean, morals. They're
Mhm.
there to teach my kid math, history, science. They're not there to teach, hey, you know what? If you want to be a woman, you could be a woman. If you want to be a man, you could be a man.
Yeah, Paul, like I'm saying, I couldn't agree with you more, man. It's like you're there to just teach that subject, not to teach them what your beliefs. You're not there to teach them your beliefs. You're there to teach them whatever that subject is. So I completely understand that. And the one thing that I wanted to say, what you're alluding to earlier, what you're talking about earlier, had me make was making me think like, hey, you know what? This actually sounds like it brings a better relationship. I don't know if I should say better. It depends who the parents are, but it just makes parents and the kid interact more and build a certain type of relationship where today it's like I go to work, you go to school, we come home, and some of the times or a lot of the times it's like go to your devices, whatever it may be, the video games, whatever it is. I'm over here chillaxing, watching TV, whatever it is, and then the next day it's repeat the same cycle where you're a little bit more hands on. It's like, no, we got to interact, okay? Because we're in this homeschooling. The homeschooling is not just for the kid, it's also the parent being very, very much involved in it as well. And I think there's some sort of, I would believe there's some sort of relationship that is built through that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%, hundred
Okay.
percent, man. Yeah, and getting to know her weaknesses and strengths too.
Mhm.
Like when she's at school, let's say she was at school, I don't know really like, oh, she's not doing good in math or here I know where she's low at. She has one person, teacher, two people actually, me and my, I know where she's low, I know where she's high, and I know where to build. I know where to build and help with that. And I could see every day where she's lacking, whether it be discipline, whether it be anything. I could
Yeah,
see it off.
yeah. The parent really wouldn't know how the child is doing until parent conference.
Yeah, and you're
You know,
there. You're putting your character, I mean, your morals into her, and yeah. And another thing, that people think, well, they need physical exercise. Obviously, you guys heard my daughter has physical exercise, and hopefully, and here's another thing that's great about homeschooling. Okay, now you can homeschool and make your own curriculum, um, but here's what's cool, bro. So here's what we did. Okay, there's a place over here in the SGV, um, Walnut, Diamond Bar, um, Rolling Heights. You're familiar with all those cities,
yeah,
right?
yes,
Yeah, like right off the 60. Dude, a really good area where the kids there excel in school. A lot of Asians, a lot of Asian families culturally discipline their family in
very good.
education.
Yeah, yeah,
Korean, whatever. They do a great job. Sometimes a little threatening, but I have some friends, and they're gonna learn. Also, they're gonna learn some kind of musical instrument They're going to get home. They're going to do their homework before anything. And yeah, they have a strict, and they use certain curriculum. They put, so what we did, and this is more me, I said, we're not going to use this general workbooks because you get to choose your own curriculum. I'm going to use the curriculum where the Asians over there are selling at. I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose. I'm pointing over because I'm pointing over towards Rolling Heights and
Right.
Walnut and all that.
Uh,
So I'm going to use the curriculum that they're using because they're excelling and they're becoming doctors, astrophysicists. They're becoming, all these things, all these scientists, bro. They're excelling, and so I'm going to use what they're using because it's proven working. Here, when you go to school, everyone uses a general curriculum that's not too high for the highest. I mean, not too hard,
yeah.
but not too
Yeah.
bad for the lowest. So they get somewhere in the middle, and everybody goes together. You're all going together on this ride. Where when you homeschool, I could use what they use, or I could choose to use where I live. I could use their stuff here. So you get to choose what you use, and using what the smartest people are using in the best school districts. That's what you could do, and that's why it's kind of like school choice when you're doing there. I'm getting to use the stuff that they're using, and well, I have an advantage that my wife's a teacher, you know, and
Right.
then I was a dropout in college, but I went back and I got to graduate. Went to Biola and I went to USC School of Social Work, so I was able to pick up later. Not the smartest guy, but and everything has to balance out, bro. So not everybody can do homeschooling. The reason I could do homeschooling because I got money coming in from a couple of films that I'm invested in, and so
Mhm.
I get the money, and I'm able to stay home and do this. My wife goes to work, you know, so we have income coming in where we could do this. Not everybody could do this, and sometimes, unfortunately, the people, parents, maybe they might be Spanish speaking or they just came here and they're not able to do it. It doesn't work for them. But that's where school vouchers would come in, where the parent knows, hey, I don't have a comprehension of the English language too well, but I wish I had vouchers that I could send them to Roland Heights. I could send them to Walmart, to Walnut, to Diamond Bar, you know. Chile with Montebello, though. I'm just kidding.
Pablo, does it cost to homeschool your child? Is there
No, no. Well, in a sense, it does. In a
do you
sense,
pay
it
for
does.
a program?
No, no, no. In a sense, it
How does
does.
it work?
So
How do you
here's
if
the
somebody's
great,
watching and saying,
huh?
you know what? If somebody's watching and saying, like, you know what, I want to homeschool my kid. How do they go about it? What are the steps?
Well,
What do they need?
okay. Here's the way it usually works. Now, there's a couple of different ways to homeschool. There's these people who went to the state, fought in court to have they can homeschool their kid 100%. Um, let's say they're religious or Muslims or whatever. They went to court, they fought. They want to teach their kids only at home, and they have to write affidavits and report to the state. That's a very minute little one. For the most of the homeschoolers, there's these ones set up. There's already homeschool people. Like let's say that one will be called Charter Oak, one will be called Inspire, one will be called Cabrillo. And what you do is you get under one of those. You de-enroll from school, you get involved with one of these. Okay. And what these are, they're already affiliated and have some kind of relationship with the government, with the state of California or the federal government. And they're already saying that here, we're going to stick to the standards that the state of California, have set. You have set that at fifth grade, the students should be here. So we're going to be sure to test them and use your test, state of California, to be sure they're here. So you go get involved with them. You don't have to pay to go to homeschool. And here's the problem. Here's where I said the teachers union gets mad, because the money that would have been going to them, to you to go to their school, and they get part of that money, which kicks up all the way to the top. That money is now going here to it's getting pulled from them to go here, and that's your individual, your son or daughter's money that would have been given to them. It's not nobody else's money. It's your son or daughter's money that's now being used here. And what happens is you're given an account, and there's so much money you get every semester. Let's say it's a couple of $1,000. With that $1,000, you're able to go and order the books you want. The books you want, you're able to uh, get them in, like sign them up for, let's say they need a math tutor. You get a math tutor. Let's say you want to get them involved in karate. You need some kind of physical education or track or swimming. You could use part of the money for that. That money, you don't have it in your pocket.
Really?
Yeah, but it's like a little account. It's a little account, but you're only able to use it. You're only able to use it through people that homeschool system has
Mhm.
approved. Like everybody, like let's say you sign up for track, you want your kid to be in track, an
Yeah.
individual after school, everybody has gone through fingerprinting, background check, all that stuff. So everything's with the state standards. The state standards,
Okay.
everything is state standards. The testing, everything is state standards. Just you're teaching them at home. So you're the classroom at home. So if that makes sense.
Okay. So I just okay. So let's because man, this sounds actually pretty damn cool, man. Okay. So instead of the money going to the public school, now that money goes to educating the kid personally. So if you're like, man, you know what, my kid really struggles in reading, I can now hire a professional,
Exactly.
somebody to teach them better on how to read and all. And if it's like, hey, you know what, I want my kid to be in little league and play some baseball, you can use that to put them to so they could play a little bit of baseball to get some physical activity as well.
Yeah, if it's approved already. If it's
Okay.
approved. If it's
Okay. If
approved, yeah. It's
and
a,
that money, that's where you get the books and all that good stuff. All
yeah,
the
it's not a whole lot. It's not a
okay.
whole lot, bro. It's not a whole lot. So you really gotta use it over and like you could get like right now they gave my daughter a computer and a tablet, right? See,
Mm,
that's money that would have, gone to them, to the school to get us that. And, everything that the teachers union gets, they charge a little overhead, so they make money on everything. But now they're
mm,
not getting the money. The charter school who oversees us actually gets that money, and they get to buy it, and they're more accountable, more open. You could go to their books, you go to their websites and see how the money's going to be spent. Everything's not a secret. And when you actually, yeah, so yeah, like you said, the books, everything, man. And then, so we meet once a month
uh-huh.
with a teacher who's actually from the charter school that we're involved with, or what do you call it, the homeschool. We meet once a month with her. She meets with us once a month, and she checks us to make sure that we're doing a good job, that we're
How's
not flaky. And she meets with our daughter, with us, and she checks the work and, make sure we're on it, So we're not just in the Wild West, just doing what we want.
right,
We're
right.
accountable to a teacher once a month who's accountable to the state of California. If they don't keep right with the state of California will shut them down.
Got it.
The state of California is very liberal. They don't like homeschool. They make it hard.
If they decide like, hey, you know what, your child seems like they're not keeping up with what they're supposed to be keeping up with, do you know what happens then?
I don't, but I would think that would be the very rare. But
Mm,
the one thing I think it would be doing, what they would do is probably recommend teaching them at a lower level. Teach them at a
okay.
lower level, but finding out, that once a month teacher is going to ask the question like, "What's going on? Something's not right here. Something's not right," and they're gonna choose the best course of action. whether it be recommending to choose to use that money to get tutors,
Mhm.
which you can. There's all kinds of tutors, man. So yeah,
Yeah.
and we've used tutors before to help our daughter. You know,
Do you have to meet a certain criteria in your household? Like, hey, you know what? Somebody needs to be home every day in order for your child to be, or so I'm saying, if somebody has to be home all day, you just can't leave your child home alone if they're going to be homeschooled. Is there anything like that?
not really. You sign an agreement at the beginning because it's obvious that you got to teach them because, and there's also some people that teach their kids at night. You know, there's not a
Okay.
certain time of the day because let's say mom works, grandma takes care of the kid in the day, and they teach them at night. And yeah, just whenever you can. Some kids are going to night school, be at
Mhm.
home, and the day is when they do their extracurricular activity. whatever it would be. You
It's
know,
on you to set the schedule.
yeah, you set the schedule.
Okay.
And if it's just like anything. If let's just say you had a parent who's like, dude, I'm sick of this is the worst case scenario. I'm
Mhm.
sick of waking up and taking my kid to school. I'm gonna put him in homeschool. But that once a month teacher that they meet with is gonna see that this kid's not excelling. And they're not stupid, bro. When because they take state tests like every semester. You take a test, the same test that the kids take in school,
Mhm.
that kid scores way down. The teacher's gonna be like, no, your kid's flunking out, dude. Like, in other words, she's going to report to her headquarters. These parents ain't doing their job. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because they're definitely more accountable than the teachers in the school. I guarantee you that. But thank
Okay.
God, like we're in a situation where our daughter, like I said, is years, really years ahead in certain areas, and it wouldn't be that way. Just think through COVID, through the whole COVID, when the kids were locked down and couldn't go to school,
Mhm.
our kid was going to school the whole time. She,
Damn.
she
Yeah.
didn't get to suffer. She didn't have to suffer at all and regress in education. She actually
Mhm.
got to excel. And so,
Right.
so for us, COVID didn't really change anything as far as her education. If anything, because there was time, my wife's a teacher, there was time she had to be home, like for months. So imagine not only did she have me as a teacher, which is a dummy, right? But she had my wife, who's a graduated teacher with a master's degree, at home teaching her for all those months. So she excelled even more during COVID. And so I think the good outweighs the bad. It's all up to the personal teacher. If the teacher does bad, I mean, if the parents do bad at any of these levels, if they don't take the time to teach her, get in. If they don't take the time to teach the kid, get involved and make sure the kid is around other kids. I think that's important too, because a
Yeah.
kid has to learn about being bullied and go through all that stuff. I mean, they have to learn how to deal with problems in the world. The
Mhm.
kids have to learn, but that's the parent's job. So if there's a homeschool teacher out there that's not teaching their kids that like you said is just protecting them, like the outside world has cooties, then
Mhm.
that's wrong because they need to be part of this world. But a lot of those people, the worries that people have about homeschool are invalid because the majority of the kids that I see homeschooled are excelling, bro, educationally in life. And when I meet them, man, when I meet the kids at church who are homeschooled, so much more respect, so much, man, they get their education, they're going places, bro. They're getting accepted into these colleges and everything, man. It's just incredible. So, and that's another thing when you transfer from high school to college and they
Yeah.
see, dude, you you could have like you're already your level of college is already 2 or 3 years in
Mhm.
and you're barely coming in. Like it's very likely that you're going to get a lot of acceptance letters, or scholarships.
Wow, man. Wow. Okay. Okay.
Now this
Hey,
goes. I say
it's
this. There's horror
yeah.
stories. I'm sure there's horror stories.
Yeah,
I
I'm sure
haven't
there
seen any. I haven't seen any, but I'm sure there is.
yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure, I know I should throw this out there, but I remember hearing somebody say there was a situation where a kid was homeschooled, and the only reason why they were homeschooled is because they were actually being abused by their parents and keeping them away from school. They couldn't really report it. So,
Went down it.
yeah, so there's certain situations like that. And with public schools, I said it earlier. It's like, oh, you got to wait for parent conference. Today, probably not so much. There is little apps that you can see your kids' grades and stuff. You don't have to wait for progress reports, but you don't know what the teacher, what else they are injecting into them.
Right.
So, and I do kind of like this ball on what you're saying. It's like, hey, you know what? Look, maybe this kid is, is in the technically the fifth grade, but they're reading at a seventh grade level, but their math is still down at a fourth grade level. At homeschool, you can, find the levels right there, man. Where if
Yeah.
they're going to school, it's like, well, hey, man, you just gotta roll with the punches. And once we come up to the end of the year, we're just gonna keep bumping you up. So,
Yeah, that's what I do, man. Sometimes if something's down, because like I said, her readings in high school, her math is it's up there, but it's
mhm,
not like high school level. Well, seventh grade or whatever. She's a fifth grader. She's seventh grade math. So I sit there with her, bro, and I got to figure out what's going on. Like sometimes it's just sometimes the kids intellectually get lazy, or sometimes they need stimulation, something, bro. They need another way of learning. Maybe some kids learn creatively, or maybe you do need to let them watch a YouTube video that's going to show them a whole nother way. So there's so much stuff, bro. So many different ways to learn. And yeah, like you said, like you heard of a kid who was abused at home, but that could even happen with people who go to school. And I would say also that the people who go to school, who go to school, the kids, I would say there's a lot more temptation at school, and this people are going to say you're protecting, but they're going to run into a lot less temptation from drugs, from sex, STDs, if they're being taught at home. And what Paul, they need to go through that, this and that, bro. But at the same time, dude, they're kids. They haven't grown. They don't have it all there. We're there to protect them as parents, bro. Times have changed, bro. STDs are rampant, dude. Sex is a thing, man. It's just sex at a young age is a thing. So I just want to be there to protect my daughter in that sense and put my values in her. Not that she's going to learn the values from the crowd or the teachers, that she's going to learn the values from home and be able to apply those in the world, and hopefully pass those on to grandkids one day.
man, oh man, oh man, yeah, I was interested about homeschooling, man. I did not know about all this, but it looks like you definitely need to have your home structured a certain way before you really start thinking about doing this. But
Yeah,
hey, but look, it's an option. So I'm glad it's definitely an option out there. I don't know anybody who has been homeschooling their kids. I know a few people that have sent their kids to private schools or charter schools, but not homeschooling. You're actually, I think, the only one I know, man. And
yeah. It's funny. It's funny where I know like tons, tons. But yeah, but it's definitely, and you know my wife's a teacher. I've been educated a little bit, so, but I don't want you to think you have to be a teacher. You don't have to be a teacher. See, when you're part of these groups who are homeschoolers, like I said, there's part of a group you join. Like there's Charter O, there's Cabrillo Point, there's all these homeschools that you could join. There's support in there. There's help in there for you. So you could just be a regular parent. Maybe you're not too bright. But you want to get, you think your kid would do better in homeschool, and it needs more focused. There's people within those groups who are there to help you. You get that once a month teacher that you meet with. She's there to help you and say, you know what, we got this classes on this day that oh, by the way, during the week also, she has online classes which like with like 30 kids,
Okay.
so during the day. So you're able to take these free classes that they offer, learn about math, history, this and that, that'll help you out. And there's also meetings that they have for parents to be able to become better teachers, to learn. They have videos, all kinds of things so you can learn. I don't understand this math. They'll help you with it. They'll help you with it. It's better than leaving the kid in the classroom and just lagging behind. And then they're the worst kid in class, but they pass them anyway. And you're like, oh, our junior, he passed sixth grade. Yeah, he's passed sixth grade, but he can't read, he can't write, he can't nothing. In homeschool, there will be a teacher there saying, hey, this is where his grades are. What are we going to do to help get him to the next grade? So he's not just passing, but he's learning, and he's having building blocks for life. So that's the difference between homeschool. They're not just going to leave them behind and pass them. They're going to say something's wrong here. Let's fix it. That's the difference.
Nice. Yeah, because it could be a little intimidating. Parents might hear this and be like, I cannot teach my kids. I can't. I don't have. You could bring me. I see their schoolwork from their fifth grade, and I don't know what the heck to do. So it could be a little intimidating. With like, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So it's good that there's things out there that are gonna help, man.
Yeah, and
But
that's what you do. Like you might know reading this and that, but maybe you don't understand the math. But that's where you could hire him tutors out of the money. Out of that money, you could get him tutors to help with math, or him or her. You know.
nice, man. Nice, Pablo. Anything else, man, on homeschooling before we wrap it up, brother?
No, I would just say that I hope everybody learned today that these people who are homeschooling are not. It's not the Wild West. They're not just running around doing whatever they want and just watch a video. No, there's actually state standards that the people have to meet, and everybody who's homeschooled that I know knows that their kids have to get physical interaction with other children. They know that their kids have to face the world, that you can't just shelter them. They're going to have to face problems in life. They're going to have to face bullies. They're going to have to face temptations. But what homeschool will do is put your values in them, that when they go face these things, if you taught them well, they're going to succeed. They're going to see that. And most of the people I see homeschooling are succeeding, because the people I know, they're on it. They're on it. And you don't have to be a professor. You don't have to. You just have to be accountable to your overseers from the homeschool charter that you're with. Be accountable to them, and they'll work with you and help you. You're not a lone ranger. And I think a lot of kids would do better with school choice or homeschooling. But and that's nothing to take away from the kids who are in the public school, because there's kids in public school doing great too. Unfortunately, there's a lot of school districts that are not doing great and not teaching your kids great. That's where vouchers need to be, I think. So a lot of stuff to think about. I mean, it's common sense. It's common sense. And if anybody ever comes and says, homeschool's the devil, or, school choice is the devil, that's a person who's been indoctrinated. And I think we should all have an open mind that not one size fits all. As you can see, I'm a big guy, not one size fits all. And school, education is important to the homeschoolers, to the public school kids, everybody. We all deserve a shot. And like I said, not every foot's going to fit in every shoe. So what's best for you, man? If you're interested in homeschooling, Google it. There's a lot of them like Charter Oak, Cabrillo Point Academy, Inspire. Look them up. SoCal has a lot of them, a lot of good ones. And they're very, 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 they're at state levels. So I think your kids will grow, but you got to be sure you have the time to put into it, oversee them, watch them, and just make sure they're doing the work. And then your overseers will help you. So much love, everybody.
As always, familia, live your life like you're on the road. Be aware of your surroundings and always keep a safe distance. Blood makes you live, but loyalty makes family. Until next time, this is Ed the Total Trucker for my man, Mr. Pablo from the LA Times. Over and out.